Yo, 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 in a bottle of rum. What's up, people? It's been a long time since I sang some bars for you. I know that's probably the first time you ever heard that. Yes, I sang bars. With that being said, shout out everybody. Hey, look, thank you for joining me today. I am MM2K of PNTS Network and StadiaDosage, here with another episode of SLS featuring MM2K. This is the community's open mic forum where I say to myself, look, I want to get some gaming in. So I swear that's what I'm going to do. So we're not going to be too long. And I just did sound off. You know, atypically, I just done sound off where I got to run my mouth for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. This isn't going to be long, and then it ends up being a 3-hour episode. But nonetheless, I appreciate all of y'all for staying here when we do go overboard like that. I don't think we're going to go overboard like that this time around. Got some important things to say, so we're going to get that out of the way very quickly, very swiftly after I just do some preliminary things. And then we're going to get into today's topics, and then hopefully I can play some games. And that's going to be the foray for what we do a lot here, you know, during the summer and all the other stuff. It's like, it's time for us to get back into the games, right? So I'll start off with that real quick. I'll say that what we want to do on this channel is we want to make sure that we don't lose sight of what it is that we're talking about. We're talking about games, and video games are not a form that is talked about in any other podcast for the most part. Like podcasts for movies, I can't just go out there and create a movie. Well, I mean, I could, but it's not going to be one that people are going to care about or talk about. Sports, you can't just hop out there, join the NBA, and start talking sports. You get what I'm, racing. You get what where I'm heading with this, right? Politics, I can't just go out there and run for mayor. You know what I'm saying? And hit the national scene. It doesn't work like that. So hopefully you guys understand what I'm talking about. What we're talking about here is we're talking about individuals talking about a forum that they can very easily participate in. We talk about games to inform people of what's going on with them, with, I hope, the desired effect of us all playing them and knowing what to play at the end of the day, or knowing what likely direction something is going into, what to expect from this one and that one, right? To help cater to your decision so you can play games, because unlike any other major medium, for the most part, we can get up and play the thing, and we can actively participate in the thing that we're talking about, which is just gaming. Anybody can pick up a controller and participate and fall in love and enjoy what they're enjoying. So even though the talk side of it may be slower here, that doesn't mean that the content necessarily has to be slow. I enjoy my catalog. I wish I could have more time to go through it if I didn't have to do adult stuff. You know what I mean? I wish I could go through my catalog more. So this is a golden opportunity for those of us that truly did enjoy playing the games, opposed to talking about them and trying to build some type of career around it. We really wanted to play, and you enjoy, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, I wasn't bluffing or making stuff up when I bought Rage 2 and Borderlands 3 and all those other games that I told you that I like, Baldur's Gate 3. It's just as time persisted and more stuff was coming out, I didn't get a chance to indulge in those games. Here comes the next game, and let me get ready to write notes and talk about this one. You know what I'm saying? It became more and more, the talking was a detriment to me playing the games. But I was serious. I wasn't capping or just saying it just to say it, to belong to a group. I was, and I still totally excited about those titles, particularly because I never got to indulge in them. So now is going to be that time that I'm going to do what I haven't been able to do. Here, let me fix something. I gotta put some edit filters. Gotta add a filter. Compressor. Let me add a compressor. Okay. So now's the time for me to do what I haven't been able to do. And you guys let me know if I'm too low now. But now's the time for me to do what I haven't been able to do in a while. And that's play these damn games. And again, if I sound too low, let me know. I'll make the adjustment to the compressor. I just realized that I did not have a compressor on at all. So, I mean, that's the thing, y'all, is that you're going to see me playing a lot more games to fill the void of, you know, the lack of news. And to be honest, and we're going to talk about this in the last segment, when it comes to big ticket games, we're in for a drought altogether, everywhere, soon. You know what I mean? And I'm going to show you guys an article that's going to hint to that. And the question is, what you going to do when the AAA drought comes for all of you? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not going to be synonymous to Stadia. It happened with Stadia first because Stadia is going through a pivot. But believe you me, this is going to affect all platforms. All right. Let's give a super quick shout out to the chat. Can we get shout this out, tweet this out, let people know that we are live. Yes, I am picking up. Join us now. I am picking up something that I caught late last night with my brother Clive. This is going to be a members only chat. I mean, not a members only chat, a subscribers only chat. And you have to be subscribed for an hour. So people who like to lurk and just throw things in the chat to be disruptive or really don't have any constructive questions, they just want to take time to an opportunity to hijack the show. Those most likely are not subscribers to the platform, right? So we're going to try to deter them the best that we can so we can get our message out. And we've opened up the chat to the subscribers. So all you got to do is hit that subscribe button. Give yourself about an hour. You'll be able to chime in. All right. Also, too, for our members, I didn't even notice this yesterday. Shout out to my spiritual advisor, Clive, all things Stadia, Clive Linden. He had a hell of a show yesterday. I hope you checked it out because it's important. We're piggybacking the first section, at least, when we get to the topics. We're piggybacking the first section off of what he was talking about yesterday, which was a continuation of what Sonny was talking about, which was another version of what we've been talking about. You know what I mean? But it's very important and transparent conversations happening from Stadia content creators. We've been attacked even recently about, in a roundabout way, about not being transparent about things and not owning up to certain situations that may not be the best for the consumers. But we do. You know what I'm saying? It's just that we don't play that game where every single thing is the end all be all of the platform. Like, again, when I bought those games back in the day, and I hate to speak for them, but I know those brothers have integrity. When Clive bought those games back in the day, and when Sonny bought those games back in the day, we were all serious about enjoying those titles and we wanting to play them. And as life happens, like I know Clive had to go back into the office, so he doesn't have the opportunity to play the games as he once has. You know what I'm saying? So Lord Kitzel, you know what I'm saying, it's been rare to pop out every now and again, and that's okay. Life happens. Same thing with me and my wife. Same thing with Sonny. You know what I'm saying? Like, life happens. So those games that we were excited about, we weren't just capping just to say, okay, we can add this to the treasure chest. No, this is our opportunity to go back to those games and play them. Because we were excited, truly. We weren't just trying to build channels to jumpstart our Stadia careers. We weren't just trying to get in on this Stadia thing first and hope that it brings us liquid gold or black gold like the Beverly Hillbillies. No, we cherish those games, and now you're going to see us going back to them. Like, just watch my video. I created a new series. Did we get jacked? Did we get jacked? I should have called it Did We Get Dirty Mac? I think John would have liked that one. John Scarf should have called it Did We Get Dirty Mac? But I call it Did We Get Jacked? Did We Get Jacked is based off of me playing games, getting loot, and me looking at that loot and seeing what I got per my grind. And we asked the question, did I get jacked or not? The very first episode, I got jacked. And you could hear the disappointment in my voice. I was very upset. I was angry, disappointed. I was so disappointed. And I had to think about releasing it because I was like, my disappointment is so staunch in this video, I could very easily make it sound like that you shouldn't play this game. And I don't want it to come off that way. But then I said, no, we got to put it out there because it's the truth. It's my true feelings. And you know what I'm saying? And really, the reason why I'm not disappointed is because something happened that shouldn't have happened. I did get jacked. I got dirty macked. Like, what the stuff that I got in that game, it should never be like that. During a global event, most of the stuff I get that are exotics or items that I already have, no. That's not how you promote your game. Now, the next time around, I ain't gonna say nothing, I'm gonna leave it a surprise, but the next time around, I think you're gonna wanna check out that one. So so a lot of my content, you're starting to see that it's less around me trying to once again re-explain the facts about Stadia over and over again. The stuff is out there, it's out in the archives. There's only so many times that I can say porting. You know what I mean? I did a show recently on Cowboy's channel. Shout out to Cowboy. You know what I mean? And that's not going to be the last time that you're going to see us together. Shh. Don't say anything. Shh. But I did a show with Cowboy. He had a different take on it. The panel had a different take on it. But all I just said it's just not the sexy truth. Here are the facts. Regardless of how you feel about the facts are, I don't create the facts create themselves. I just facilitate the facts. So as long as the porting is an issue that's being worked on and it's holding the progress of, I don't want to say all or even most, but a good number of big ticket games, the big ticket games that I focus on, which really there's not a lot out that I know of besides the only ones I really want to play is Dying Light 2. What else is coming? I mean, everything else that I'm like eager for, Heartlands, X Defiant, that's coming to the platform. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a given. I'm just hoping that the performance is great. I'm not too big on the Avatar, but we'll see how that goes. Anything else? You know, the Batman game, what do you call those? The Robin game. I forgot the name of that. You know, that seems to interest me. The Harry Potter game, that looks interesting as well. But there's not a whole slew of stuff that I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta play. Most of that stuff is in the Ubisoft catalog, and I'm happy with the Ubisoft catalog. And I feel a lot of people fall into that realm. So when you say, oh, all we know is the Ubisoft games that are coming, you sound like Like we're talking about ColecoVision. Like we're talking about remastered ColecoVision game. This is Ubisoft, one of the biggest third-party publishers out there. And their games are guaranteed coming to the platform. I'm Gucci. But I know I don't represent everybody that is on the platform. So if you legitimately have some issues or have some beef about games that are not coming, we told you what to do on Twitter. Speak up. Speak up in crowds too if you have to. Well, I'm 2K, why I gotta do that? Because this is a 1% business. This is not Xbox and PlayStation where developers are running to the platform to put their things on this platform. It's not keeping the lights on. So there has to be some type of incentive from Stadia right now in a lot of cases, or at least the process of bringing the title over has to be seamless in order for a developer to entertain it. Right now it's not seamless, so what does that mean? Stadia gotta pay. Now, granted, I've heard to do with some, I've been at rehab with my wife, and I don't entertain a lot of this silly stuff out here on the internet, but I've heard that there's confusion about the load change porting. People are questioning, I don't know, I could have this wrong. People are questioning why all content isn't coming over this year because of the load change porting, whatever. The load change porting is still in its beta phase. It hasn't been released to all the publishers. We've heard from the Sky Climbers, the developers, they're not expecting to get their access till the end of the year. We told you that per the press release just a month ago, Stadia said the load change porting is going to be available to all of our developers later in the year. So I'm going to take what I heard from the dev, I'm going to take what I hear from the source, and I'm going to say, don't expect people to get access to this or this to be accessible, rather, to people until the end of the year. Does that mean that at the end of the year, all these games are coming? No, or deals signed? We don't know what's going on at that juncture as far as who signed on or not yet. We just know that by the end of the year, expect it to be possible for all developers to have access to load change porting, the full scale version. But right now it's in beta. World War Z people, Cyber Interactive, likely used it, right? From what we understand, they've used it to give us 1080p 60 and 1080p 60 only. That doesn't sound like it's complete to me. And they probably said, okay, with the load change porting and just a couple of weeks of tweaking, this is the best that we could do. We're not willing to commit any more unless you pay us. And you pay us this. Stadia probably said, you know what? We're out of that business, paying people. So if this is what you got, it's what we're going to take. Because ultimately, we want to get this toolkit to the part to where you don't have to do anything manually outside of those 2 weeks of tweaking. That's it. So that goes against the purpose. If we pay you, we're going to take this and we're going to see why you couldn't deliver us everything within those 2 weeks. Because that means we got to fix this toolkit to make it to where next time you will be. I'm pretty sure there'll be exceptions. Like we're still waiting on word for FIFA. So if FIFA comes over, that's likely going to be exception to that rule where they were willing to, to cough up some change. But we don't know. We'll have to see. But again, I'm enjoying the games that I've purchased. Nothing has changed. Just because I would have liked to be in a different spot going into the future, that does not change the affinity that I have for the games. Even if we were in a different spot, that doesn't make me make the games that I purchase, it doesn't make me like them any more or any less. Either way, I still have them. Stadia is not going anywhere. So I'm going to go play them. I'm going to wait for X Defiant. I'm going to wait for Division Heartlands. I'm going to wait for Avatar. I'm going to wait for whatever else comes. So that's why on this platform, you're going to see a lot more content game related. We're going to give you a heads up to when we're going to be playing games and stuff like that. And things are going to be game related because that's what games are about. And that's the great thing about this medium and this community is that I don't have to be LeBron James or Kyrie Irving or Steph Curry to participate in the medium that I'm talking about. I can stop talking and start playing and still create content. And guess what? That's what we're going to do. And I think that's going to be a deciding factor to us actually capsulizing those within the community that are truly enthusiasts about the platform, regardless if you have negative flashes of this and that. That's okay. Everybody does. I've been critical. There's things that I felt like they could have done and should have done differently or whatever. It's not a perfect platform. I'm not talking about that. But we're going to separate those that legitimately are enjoying the platform, enjoy it, or enthusiastic about it, from those who just, for whatever reason, are jaded, angry, bitter, and they just want to piss in your cornflakes now. Because when we make it about the games and playing the games instead of just talking, then they have nowhere to go. They can't get involved because they don't want to play the games too. Oh, I want the best for Stadia. Then when you bought those games, you didn't complete them all. We know you didn't. You just racked them up and then went on, we just went on podcast after podcast and talked about the next ones and we racked them. When I racked them up, it's because I enjoyed them and I had fun playing them. When I was making videos about these games, I was serious. I was dead ass. When I wasn't having fun, like with Serious Sam, I was dead ass. So I wasn't no frauding and faking here. There's a crap load of games that I was excited about that I really didn't get a chance to dive into. That's what we're going to start doing. And then when things pick up, hopefully we'll be able to better incorporate both playing those games and enjoying the new stuff that's coming through. But again, we still got some cool stuff coming through. There's not a lot of cool stuff coming through anywhere right now. And there's definitely not going to be a lot of cool stuff coming in the future. When I say cool, I mean to those that are on the serious AAA big brass kick. Stadia's helped me appreciate indies more. I think there are a lot of great titles that are coming anyway, indie-wise, like Project Z. Project Z is not a AAA effort. That game has me more excited than most of the stuff that I've seen AAA-wise, because that game is just right up my alley. Reminds me of the type of games that me and my brother would play. So with that said, you're going to see a change in the content that at least I put out here. You're also going to see more content. You're going to see more content focused on games. We got a series of great things coming. It's just waiting for the final sign off. The final countdown. I'm in a very singing mood today. All genres, bars. Yeah, it's just waiting for the final approval, the final get-go, said so from whoever needs to say it behind the scenes. And shout out to all the people, all the core members that are helping making these things happen behind the scenes. So as this group is working on this thing, and I peek my head in and say, oh, what's going on here? And I get to see stuff, and I'm like, wow, that's gonna be dope. And then I go poke my head out over here. There's a lot of dope stuff coming in. It's all gaming centric. We're cutting out some of the fat, which is just the bibble babble. We're cutting out some of the fat, and it's going to be about games. We still do. And last time I checked, you can still talk while playing games, right? Yeah, you can do that. So we're going to be doing a lot of game stuff. So definitely be on the lookout for a lot of those changes. It's going to be dope stuff. In addition to that, just going to be some schedule changes for some of the content that I'm involved in. My wife's out of rehab. I know I said that a couple of weeks ago, and then she got back in or whatever. I kind of told you guys last night on what's it called? Sound off. I told you guys a bunch of stuff on sound off. That was a side of MM2K that a lot of you haven't seen, but I wanted to get a message across to let people know, as I am in a moment, that don't confuse the theatrics. I'm a very humble individual. All I want to do is just see people get an opportunity to express their excitement about the platform and do it freely. And I want people to be able to learn about the platform. You know what I'm saying? Anything else, it's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to be a therapist. I'm not here to stroke anybody's mane and make them feel like their opinions are super duper uber special and give them a sucker or a sticker. It's not what I'm here for. Those are the two things that I'm here for. So you're going to see a change to our content as far as scheduling is concerned. Sound Off is moving to Mondays. Sound Off is going to move to Mondays. We're going to solidify time, but Sound Off is going to move to Mondays. This is going to remain on Tuesdays. But Tuesdays are going to be, I don't know, it may move up to 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and take Sound Off slot. But definitely stay tuned for that. But this is going to remain on Tuesdays. On Wednesdays will be the new SSC podcast. It's not going to happen this Wednesday. It's going to be next week. SSC podcast is going to be Wednesday. And I talked to Smock about weekly checkup. We're going to leave weekly checkup alone as it is now. But Smock brought up some great points, and I definitely think that we need to do. I think it needs to be a little bit longer. Now, for the members, y'all probably saying to yourselves, well, god damn, how much longer y'all gonna make it? Because it's a 2-hour show for members a lot of times. But what you guys get in the public is you guys get like maybe an hour. And again, to get those full 2 hours, become a member. All it takes is $2. But Smock still wants to make it longer so we can interact more with the community and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that. So we're going to keep weekly checkup on Fridays, and we're going to extend it some more. It's going to be in more places. So again, just want to reiterate that we're going to be moving Sound Off, which is the member content, to Mondays. Don't have a time on that yet. Stay tuned. SLS featuring MM2K is going to remain on Tuesdays, but we're bumping the time up. Wednesdays is going to be SSE podcast. Thursdays, I'm planning for nothing on the channel. Fridays, we're going to do the weekly checkup for members recording, and then it'll be available again for the public on Sundays. Okay? All right, cool stuff. Now let's do this. Let's shout out the chat, because y'all have been pleasantly patient. Y'all all didn't show up on time like I asked y'all to, but that's okay. We got Sean L in the house. He says, hey, yo, Aminor says Stadia fell. It's over. Shut it down. Hey, Aminor, if that was true, you know you'd be crying, because you couldn't come here and harass us anymore. Nerds World in the house. Good evening to Bosch 313. He says, thank you to Bosch for celebrating 3 months of becoming a member, an SDO family member. We appreciate you. And the member family is just growing, man. I think y'all understand what's going on here. And like I said, we don't spend any of this in our own pockets. So Dr. StreamX, my apologies. I was dealing with my wife's doctors. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to send your controller out. So if you're listening, my bad, bro. I'm going to send your controller out. Seymour Butts, I guess you are what I thought you was. This was just a sock account designed to spy on our content and whatever, which is fine. Hey, if you want to pay me to spy on me, that's fine. So because you haven't responded, because normally the members, once this happens, they're aware and they respond. We're going to re-roll next week. Or no, am I going to do it this week? We might do it for weekly checkup. We're going to re-roll for the second controller. All right. So for those of you that were members as of May, or as of the end of May, you're going to get a second chance for a controller because Seymour Butts didn't claim it. So we're done. We gave them more than the courtesy 5 days. So that's over. We got Enel Osagmabado says, I will love Streets of Rage. Yes, my friend. Stadia is doomed. He says, Clive's show has been fire. Absolutely, as always. Stadia's on fire. Casey, what's up? Hey, yo, Simpleton, my bro, Simpleton in the house. Avery Bobo, what's up, my brother? Gotham Knights. Yes, Dusty, Gotham Knights. David Wilson says, catching up from the beginning, but afternoon, folks. Thank you. Stadia has Amador is having a blast in here today. Screw you, Amador. Only indie developers are running to the Stadia platform. I don't know about that. And I don't know about that because we don't know what deals have been signed. Like, we don't know. Like, here's the thing, y'all. I think a truer statement, Casey, is only indie developers are having products being put out for Stadia, mainly outside of Ubisoft. That's a fair, and it may be that way, as Clive alluded to, and we've alluded to earlier. It may be that way all the way through 2022. We've said here multiple times that don't expect, because the load change porting is coming out to everybody at the end of this year, you're going to start seeing a floodgate of games. As a matter of fact, I think it was last SLS featuring MM2K that I said, you know what, I wouldn't expect starting this because agreements still have to be signed and finalized. Like, people got to test this stuff out. They got to get it in their hands. They're not just going to trust Google and say, oh, okay, this low charge porting is what it is and let's do it. They're not going to do that. They're going to test it out and see what it is that that it does. And then from then, agreements got to be signed and all that stuff. So, and we don't know what Stadia has allotted. Like, Stadia may have said, okay, us paying 20 to 30 million for a port is not sustainable. But now that we got the low change porting, for some games that need an additional tweaking because this thing is going to continue to be built, us throwing out an extra million or two ain't going to be, but we don't know that. There are multiple ways that this can go down. So we have no idea. All we do know is that Stadia has expressed a desire to work with AAA devs again. They did. You got to go back to the 2021 keynote. Listen to all that. They've expressed a desire to work with AAA devs again, hence their pro initiatives and stuff like that. They keenly talk about getting AAA developers back on the platform. And you look at the fact that a lot of these job descriptions that we're seeing, like I think 2K just had one that got filled in April, where it references Stadia. We don't know what that means, but I think a fair assessment, an accurate assessment, is the only games that we're seeing results from, for the most part, are indie developers. And okay, but I feel that if Stadia's plan and everything falls into place, if their plan is to revamp and start churning things out in 2023, what better time to do it than, I mean, I know there's a lot of heartache and all other stuff, but what better time to do it than this year? Because 2022, you're going to see a serious drought across the board when it comes to AAA titles. Period. So they might get lucky and they might be churning out indies just like everybody else in 2022, even though everybody else is doing it because that's all that's available, where Stadia is doing it because, because of their revamp or their pivot. That's all that, they can partner with at the moment. But again, games don't take 3 weeks to develop. They take time. I mean, I know the porting is supposed to be, and they don't take time. They don't take 3 weeks to negotiate, get everything set in place, and get on the platform. That stuff still takes some time. So let's see what deals are whipped out, what games actually come. You might see some in 2022. I don't know. And as a matter of fact, there's a great poll we're going to put up there in a little bit. But there's something I got to address first. But no, I think I get the sentiment. But again, we just deal with facts here. I would rephrase that to indies are the only content that is coming out right now at the moment. But I don't know if we can say that's the only platforms. They're the only developers that are flocking to Stadia. Because here's the thing, another thing too, we got to understand the business. A AAA developer is not, shout out to Ralph, shout out to Cody Maloney, and shout out to everybody that's out here churning it and making the damn thing happen. We owe so much to those individuals. Games like Project Z are coming, and I think the platform is going to be so much better because of it. And they're helping to raise awareness to the platform in a way better than I think Stadia could ever do, even if they were clicking on all 4 cylinders, because we've heard from other developers that were still scorned by Stadia at launch, talking about we're curating their content. We've seen examples where you saw it on Twitter, where indie developers said, well, what do you think about this? From what we understand, Stadia doesn't even want to deal with us, so why we don't even want to bother. It's one thing for Stadia, after all this negative press, to try to come to you, and you might just say, yeah, you're just coming to us now because you're in trouble. Opposed to the actual player base making emphatic calls to developers and saying you should come here. And look, I've talked to developers, you got to excuse my French, and they told me, holy shit, we didn't know that the community was out here like this, bustling the way that they are. Like, holy shit, we didn't expect this. Yeah, there's something here. Oh, it definitely would be worth for us interacting here, right? So in that realm, because of how things aligned, and even though people frowned upon it, oh, well, you doing Stadia's job, Ralph and them are doing a better job Stadia could ever do, because they are the player base. They are the people that are going to keep the lights on, the actual players. And hearing actual players urge you to bring the game to the platform, that speaks more wonders than Stadia ever could, even if everything was clicking right. So that's huge. And all developers will tell you. I've been talking to developers for years outside of this. I'm not new to this. Developers will tell you, if you speak up in droves, and you speak to us directly, that's what makes headways more than a lot of our meetings. Prime example, Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Remember that Assassin's Creed Valhalla on all platforms was only going to be 30 frames per second. It wasn't going to be 60 frames per second. And the gamers first approached Xbox and PlayStation, and Xbox and PlayStation was like, oh, no. That's on them. You got to talk to them. Because it's not like it's not possible. And so the communities band together, went to Ubisoft constructively and cordially, for the most part, and said, no, this is unacceptable. We will not buy your game if you don't give us a good-looking performance mode. We're not going to buy it. See, it's easier for these publishers to just watch you beat up the platforms because it's no sweat off their back. They still get to do their shady stuff. And then they get to put the game out, and the people that are going to buy it are still going to buy it, and they're going to grumble at the platform holders. But when we, the community, go directly to the people that are making this, it's not that Stadia don't want these games on there. Stadia wants the games. It's not that Stadia doesn't want them to tweak the games. Stadia wants them to tweak the games. But it's the developers that are only willing to do it under certain conditions. Conditions that we can understand, certain conditions that we should not take. And the most effective instances of us addressing these issues because of what the developers do is with the developers themselves. We've already got precedent here. Guess what happened? Remember when Assassin's Creed Black Flag came out on Stadia and it wasn't going to be part of Ubisoft Plus? Remember that? That was one of the only times, or one of the few times let me be fair, where instead of just saying, oh Stadia, we said, no, this ain't right. This is Ubi, because there was no way for them to blame Stadia on that one. This is Ubisoft effing up. And what did Ubisoft do? It was like in a matter of minutes. Oh, no, that was a mistake. Mammy Jammy, please. They were trying to pull a slick one because they added a 60 frames per second mode. We still haven't learned our lesson. We did a video earlier, or Ghost Recon Breakpoint, for our morning tonic. What is the first thing people did? Oh, Stadia, we lost our saves. It's all your fault. That is the dumbest effing thing. I swear, I wish this was sound off. I need to open sound off to y'all. A lot of y'all will be shocked and unsub, but whatever. Some of y'all need this cold hard medicine. But that's the dumbest effing thing I've ever heard. Saves are stored in a database with the game developer. Where do you people come from? Like, oh my God, go back to not playing games anymore. Please. You hurt my brain cells. I saw that. I said, I'm not even going to respond. I'm not even going to respond. We've gone to the point of idiocy that I never thought I'd see us in. The saves are with the game developers in the database. If you love Ubisoft so much, you would understand how their structures work. They just talked about this with the Division 2 when they did the Division 2 stream. Stop being dummies. Oh, Stadia, oh, Stadia, oh, Stadia. And Ubisoft rested on their laurels, didn't have to own up to anything for a day or two, and then finally came out and said, you know what? By the way, my bad, dude. That was my fault. Freaking idiots. That's why I put a lot of my stuff behind. I got to keep it real today, y'all. That's why I put a lot of my stuff behind memberships. I get being disgruntled and being ignorant to certain things, but a lot of this stuff now, y'all just acting plain dumb. Dumb. And I don't even get the point of sitting there talking, doing all this talking, enlightening you, helping to dig and find all these facts for it not to be retained, for y'all to get out there on social media and put up so many characters of dumbness. It's pointless. I'm not here to appease everybody. I'm here for people that want to learn about the platform and retain what they've learned. And also people who are enthusiasts for the platform and want to play it and enjoy it instead of just on Stadia all day. Now we're hitting down the road of Idiotville that I don't want to entertain in year 3. I just don't. That's why a lot of my content now is behind memberships. And we're more frequently playing games and talking to those that get it more than anything. And I know people ain't gonna like that. It's a very jagged pill to swallow. But after year 3, like I said, the devolving of game understanding, and I get where the disappointment is coming, but I'm literally in front of me seeing gamer IQ devolve because of disappointment. The only thing I can suggest is maybe, like we said in prior videos and podcasts, maybe your expectation for cloud gaming was just too much. Because I get it. I know what's going on. It's very transparent. You guys wanted Stadia to be farther along. No, we all wanted Stadia to be farther along than what they are now. And there's different levels of dealing with that disappointment. Some of us understand that disappointment is a part of life, and everything isn't so black and white. There's a volume of gray. So every time I hear something good or every time I hear something bad, I evaluate it to how I feel about the platform overall. Is it helping in me liking the platform? Is it helping me in disliking the platform even more? Or did nothing move the needle for me? So that's how I gauge my involvement. Then I go look out in the community and I see, again, those that are the true enthusiasts of the platform. What is it doing for them? And then that caters to things that we talk about. Everybody's welcome to listen to what's going on here. Everybody's welcome to say what they want to say, as long as they understand that depending upon what they say, what they're going to get in response. But everybody's willing, welcome to chime in or whatever. But this platform isn't built for the guy that on Monday says Stadia is the greatest. They had a sale on Guilt, and they're the greatest. Then Tuesday, oh man, GFN got Gasoline Simulator. Stadia didn't. They're dead. Then on Wednesday, oh my God, City Skylines added a new building. Stadia's great. Then on Thursday, my roster on PGA 2K21 didn't update as fast. Yeah, they're dead. Everybody, they're abandoned. I'm just expecting to get a full refund on everything and it just show up in my account because they're dead. Then Thursday, yes, Stadia had a 2-for-1 sale on Final Fantasy 15 and stacks upon stacks. And then Saturday, what's that? Mario Kart was on Luna. The very first Mario Kart 16 or something like that was on Luna for 35 minutes. Luna's the best. Stadia's dead. It's done. I'm still waiting on my refund. Where's my rebate for Stadia? I'm not here for those people. Those people are dizzying. They should be on medication. Because I can tell you, someone has just dealt with ADHD in our family, they suffer from ADHD. I'm not here for them. I'm here for those that can be educated, make a sound decision off that education, and if they say after being educated, they say, you know what, this has informed me, thank you very much for that information, boom, great. Hey, look, we help somebody understand something a lot better and make a decision that's best suited for them. Person B, you know what? Thanks for the education. Now I like this thing. Let me try it out. Oh, okay. Well, in addition to the education, here goes a place where you can come and enjoy, gaming with us. Come on, let's go. That's who we're here for. And again, I know people didn't like it. I know it's still controversial because you guys talk to me behind the scenes all the time. And I know you don't mean anything malicious about it. Sometimes it comes off as a guilt trip that, the stuff is behind memberships. But I'm just tired of the idiocy after year 3. I am. And there's nothing short of that. That's all it is idiocy. We do nothing but talk. Inform. Oh, Stadia, what happened to Ubisoft saves? Shut up. But at least we got 1,200, ghost points, or 1,200 Skrell points and 700 ghost points after all that. But that's all I'm saying, is if we talk effectively and we talk in unison, and yet we can be jagged and be like, look, I'm looking forward to Madden. I saw somebody today, which I don't feel that way about Madden, but I can do nothing but respect it, because if people that feel that way grasp onto that tweet and fill out that thread, that'll be effective. Where somebody said, you know what? I'm here for Madden is the most important game for me here. I enjoy playing other games here, but Madden is it. And if Madden ain't here, I'm done with this platform. I'm going to spend my money elsewhere. That type of stuff is to the point. It's serious, but to the point and without going overboard. And if people that feel that way can lock onto that person's tweet and do that, Stadia's watching. They're watching everything. They may likely say, you know what? Data that we got didn't wield well for Madden for us at first. So that's why we didn't really pursue it. But maybe we should pursue it. Maybe those first 2 installations that came to the platform were outliers. Maybe we were warming the community up, and now they want it and they're invigorated about it, and it's going to do us added good to have it on the platform where it didn't really do that for us before. We didn't get the rate of return back, nor did it did it sustain new gamers that are playing other things on the platform. See, we got to remember, we don't have the data that Google has. Even though Madden generally is great to have on every platform, we got to remember this is a 1% platform that's hitting a specific demographic. It may not churn out that way here. So the success that other platforms are seeing having Madden maybe didn't translate here. But if you speak up in volumes, speak up in sentiments that won't get overlooked, like going over the top and talking this doom and gloom stuff, it was just being jagged and saying, look, I'll walk away from the platform. Don't try to speak for anybody else, speak for yourself. I think if we do that in groups, for those that feel that way, it'll be a lot more effective, and it might change the tide. See, now y'all making me get out of order by me addressing some of this idiocy, but I had to get there, and I'm gonna address one more piece of idiocy, and then we're gonna move on. But let me go through this chat. But Casey, I think that to answer your question, which I don't think is idiotic at all, I think it was a great question. I think that what happened is you have a situation to where to fill the void earlier on, you are going to see, until this load change porting, along with people adapting it and spitting out things through it, you're going to see nothing but indies, and they're good indies, very good indies. All right, like Ubisoft, EA, Project Red Team, 17, Bethesda. I said it in the post, says Simpleton earlier. There are 4 platforms: PC, console, mobile, and cloud, each with their own strengths, none with 100%. Absolutely, yeah. Casey says, I agree. Games are on Stadia. Can't wait for Project Z. Yep. Sean L. F my ass off. I'm sorry. I I'm tired in year 3, Sean. I am, man. We've wrapped too. I'm tired, bro. I can't do it anymore. But you guys that are here for the most part, except for when we get scragglers here and there, you guys get it. That's why I don't mind talking to you all once every other week. I know a lot of people like felt dismayed because it felt like, you know, they think it's a money grab. No, anything that we bring in goes right back out to you guys. Like next month, we're doing the plug and play bundle pack for Stadia. Right? We do that every 3 months. You know what I mean? So, and then because the response from you guys has been so great, we're looking at bringing back the Old Dirty Blaster show, where we are taking the proceeds thanks to all the members, and we're giving someone a gift card every month or cash equivalent, because we want to keep this international. Our support is international, so we want to keep it international. So because of the response that we're seeing, if it stays up, if it's consistent and it continues to grow, then we can say, okay, undoubtedly, I don't want to bring back the Old Dirty Blaster show just because we had a good month or two. You know what I mean? Like if this stays consistent, if we continue to grow in our membership and people stay signed on and they're helping out, then I can say, okay, this is pretty much reliable assistance, and we can use this to fund the Old Dirty Blaster show. And we got big plans for that show too. Like it's gonna go beyond just me playing some Division 2. We got some really big plans for that show. Stay tuned. But Casey says, I'm okay with Indie Vet. What's up, folks? Is Geek to Sneak. What else we got to continue? So many souls like open world shooters, etc. BC, they bring new ideas and scene to care to put their game. Yeah, Casey, no, I'm sorry. Sometimes I mix my rants, Casey, with a question, and it's not, no, my rant wasn't for you, my good friend. My rant was just for some of the idiocy that I hear outside of here. And it's just like, it's unbelievable at times. And now your mama knows. He says this live stream is epic. I appreciate you, good brother. And I did catch pieces of your show last night, man. That was a great show on PlayStation. Once I get a little bit more acclimated with mine, because I will be through the summer, maybe me and you can rap, man. And I got somebody that I think you're going to want to bring on. My good brother. I'll talk to him. Oh, I'll talk to you too, cowboy. What had you so riled up today? Or has you so riled up today? No, I'm just tired of the Geek to Sneak. Not y'all. Y'all get it, man. That's why I rock out with y'all. But no, just some of the idiotic stuff that I'm hearing on the internet, you know, about the saves, the Ubisoft saves, you know, with Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Oh, Stadia needs to take a stance now. Over Ubisoft saves that are in their database. And the point that I was trying to make, Geek, is that when we sit here and we focus erroneously on these platforms, that takes the heat off of the developers. But when we put the heat on the developers, time after time, it shows that, I mean, it works. Like, I'll give you an example. With this whole Ghost Recon Breakpoint thing, it was idiocy to pile up on Stadia. Saves are stored in a database with the developer. So Ubisoft was responsible. I looked at comments that people were showing me, and I didn't even respond. I just had to go to sleep because it was so stupid. It was so idiotic. And year 3 into this thing, I get a lot of us were not acclimated to games for a while. We're brand new to this, but it seems like we're just getting dumber and dumber and dumber instead of smarter and instead of growing our knowledge based on how this works. We're just getting dumber and dumber and dumber because of our disappointment. And I get it. Some wanted the platform to be more. I mean, I wanted it to be more too, but I know how to deal with disappointment and then bump that disappointment up against my overall enjoyment with the platform and say, even though I'm disappointed about this, I still overall enjoy the platform. Yeah, and will I speak out against my disappointment? But I ain't got to bewilder the point. because I'm disappointed. Like, for instance, I'm gonna give you a prime example. I'm disappointed that Serious Sam wasn't 60 frames per second. But I get that the team was a smaller team. They may have not had all the resources to make it 60 frames per second on Stadia. There may have been some issues. So I could sit here and belliger Stadia and the development team for what? I moved on and found bigger and better games. I like Serious Sam. Serious Sam is not that detrimental to my life. You know what I'm saying? So I moved on. Matter of fact, I think I'm the only person probably last decade that's still talking about Serious Sam. Nobody's talking about it. It wasn't that serious. But if you listen to some, they want you, every little point they want you to belliger, to be on a campaign about, bring out your pitchforks. And even when, and some things do require some serious attention, but y'all don't even know who to give the attention to. That's the frustrating thing. I don't work at Google. I mean, I feel bad at times when maybe the social media team and others get attacked unfairly and unjustly. But I don't know those people. It's not my job to, again, be a couch for them. So that's not my issue. My issue is, damn, don't make us look stupid. We're doing all this conversating and podcasts all over the place and all these events and all this other stuff after 3 years. This is a very active community when it comes to talking about video games. But it seems like opposed to playing video games or even learning about video games, we just want to talk. We want to talk and sound flabbergasted. That's it. I don't want any parts of that. I don't want any parts of that. So we're going to educate you about the platform. If after your education, you're enthusiastic about it, you want to come and kick it and play, indulge in it, come on over with us. We got a lounge for you. That's it. I'm not indulging in the silly stuff anymore. It's just stupid. It's stupid. I try to avoid. I'm getting older. I'm not getting any smarter. I don't need to be acclimated to stupid stuff. Yeah, Avery Bobo, you're 1,000% right. Oh, so we're yelling now. Laugh out loud. We need to hear it because way too many people put breakpoint save all on Stadia Tech. Yeah, it's idiocy. Sounds like Mr. 4K laugh out loud. Is that what he sound like? What's up? Geek the Sneak said, just enjoy it. He said, what happened? Post what? The post. Oh, you're talking about yeah, that's what it was. It was there were so many posts, and I don't want to use my platform to highlight stupidity. Yo, Petter's in the house. He says, have you played Death Run TV? I haven't played it yet, Casey. I'm a fraud. I haven't played it yet. I haven't played much outside of Division 2. Yo, the chat says, Bud. Lo-Fi says, hey, everybody. What up? What up? Says Lo-Fi Monk. He says, what's up, Petter Games? Project Storming Out says, oh boy, what's up? I'm here to listen today. And now your mama knows, says, yeah, let me know, brother. Yeah, we'll wrap. Lo-Fi Monk in the house. Geek the Sneak says, I don't hear a lot of the same criticisms with some of these other platforms that people focus on with Stadia rarely. Yeah. Again, video games are about enjoying what you're playing. When 80% of your focus on what you have to say is about attacking something else, I can't get jiggy with that shit. I can't get down with that. I'm sorry. And I get it. If you got a lot of people that have converted, were truly happy, there wouldn't be a focus. Like when I converted from Xbox, like, yeah, I was just, because I know, and I'm speaking from experience. I know where this come from. I'm speaking from experience. When I was disgruntled from Xbox, and I felt like Xbox betrayed me, well, that's after 20 years of with the platform, spending money endless money with the platform. I'm talking about serious money, not paying for pro several months and, buying these games on. Please. I bought endless games for Xbox. It was ridiculous. Bought endless machines, endless controllers. Just the way that Stadia is structured and set up, I could never pay as much on Stadia. I was spending more on Xbox, I want to say in a quarter, than I would on Stadia an entire year. Just because it's Stadia structure or when they're putting things in pro and so forth, it's not even a comparison. And I was with them for decades. And Xbox was operating a certain way for decades. And then all of a sudden they changed. And they changed for the better for their bottom line. But for a lot of us, it didn't pan out right. And I didn't know where else to go. That was the biggest contention, or that was the biggest, I don't want to say concession, but that's the biggest issue that I had. Was I didn't know where to go. I got used to a certain way to play games, and it went away. And there was nothing better to me until I came across Stadia. Stadia allowed me as a streamer to get more involved in the streaming process a lot smoother. Stadia was serious about the cloud. They weren't just trying to buy people off and buy off accolades. They were serious about the cloud. The community was great and fantastic and helpful. And like I said, the ease of access to everything, the convenience was just stellar. Won me over. And made me realize that the 2 to 3 years prior, when I was worried about the Xbox One X and the most powerful console and all that superficial crap that really wasn't at the heart of what I was looking for in gaming, didn't matter. I need my 60 frames per second, but I didn't need every polygon and compute unit. I want my 60 frames per second. I want to get my good performance on the go, no matter where I go, no matter what device that I'm on. And I want it to be boop, boop, boop. And I want it to be light on my resources. So when I go to stream, I can do stuff like I'm doing now. Stadia makes it possible for me now to stream 1440p direct to YouTube. And I thought I was streaming at 1080p to stream 1440p direct to Twitch. Because it's so light on my resources, I can do that simultaneously. I can stream to competing streaming services in 1440p. And one using an overlay and all the bells and whistles. As someone who likes to record when I game now, that's magical to me, and I love that. Right? So, very important stuff, and why I thought that Stadia had filled a void, much of which I didn't even realize that I had. I was sticking to superficial stuff, and Stadia filled in a void for me and made me enjoy gaming again. And I still do. So, with that said, we're not gonna entertain the idiocy. I don't want to do that. Like I said, we're not doing that in year 3. That's why we changed what we're doing. We got a lot of great content coming y'all's way. Definitely. Like I said, I'm a lot of it. I'm excited over all of it. And I just certain things, I just can't wait till you guys see it. But again, our focus is going to be around playing the games, because that's what it's about. And we weren't lying as we were buying games and getting stuff. We weren't lying about our excitement over them. It wasn't just a chest pounding contest for us. All right. Dang, MM. Now I see why Miss 2K has the yeah, exactly. Oh, I was going crazy on I was buying way too much stuff for Xbox. Look, they in one summer, Xbox had me buying 2 4K TVs. The summer before the Series S rolled out, in May, I had got the one 4K TV. I ended up giving that 4K TV to my daughter, but that one I had in the office, and I used that as a monitor. And then someone said, "No, man, you got to get that HDR10." So then I went to, and I got both of those TVs from Sam's Club. I went to Sam's Club and I got another HDR TV. Now that one is hanging in my and that one was that was like a 55-inch. Samsung, I forgot the name of it. That one's in my living room now. I used to have a 65-inch Sony in my living room, but I put that one in the bedroom. So I got the Samsung TV because the way our fireplace is, I didn't want anything too big sticking out over the fireplace wall. So I put that one up there. Still got that one. My original 4K TV I gave to my daughter when she moved last year. But that one was in my bathroom. Here's the problem. I went and bought all those 4K TVs, spent thousands of dollars because someone's like, "Oh man, no, when that X come out, you gotta get that HDR10. You know what I'm saying? And it gotta be so many nits." Went and got that. Was mildly impressed with the X. And then God of War came out a few months later and destroyed the look of everything on my X. A $200 PlayStation had a game looking better than anything on my X. Right? So then I realized that at least on the console level, trying to sit there and grab after every polygon and compute unit on paper, there's a certain level of expectation I have. As long as that level's met, anything else is a bonus. I'm not gonna get into chasing every compute unit. Now, there are times, don't get me wrong, there are times I like to show off. There are times I'm like, "Oh, I wonder what this looks like it's cranked up." That's why I got my 3070. Or my PlayStation 5 for them PlayStation 5 bangers. You know what I mean? But yeah, Stadia helped center me and make me realize that continuing this game of chasing every polygon and compute unit was a fool's errand. Right? All right. Stadia got me back into gaming after a whole generation of obscurity. Absolutely. He said, what games? Only old games. Shut your ass up, Aminar. All right, so let's get into it, y'all. I want to make this profoundly known. I think this is a good time to do this, and then we're going to get into the topics. Because I was having I was having several conversations behind the scenes. Getting ready for some stuff that's coming. Put some things out and align with some things, right? And in the course of these conversations, it was brought to my attention that some of you may not understand why when you come here to the house of Stadia, like how Geek to Sneak did, what got you so riled up? What you so worked up about? But when you come to the house of Stadia, depending upon your tone, while we might throw the katanas out there. So what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to go and do a group session on explaining what we've been doing for the past 3 years. I'm going to re-solidify it for those that are new, that may have legitimately don't understand why I do what I do. And then we're going to continue to do what we do. See, here, for those that don't understand what this platform is, because I've had people come to me and say, you know what, in order for you to be taken seriously, MM2K, you got to be biased. And I'm like, okay, well, what does bias means? Well, for those of us that feel this way, you got to acknowledge that we feel this way. No, I don't. No, I don't. That's like, if I'm a scientist and I got all the scientific data that shows that the world is flat, that the world isn't flat, just because you bust up in my convention, with signs, with colorful neon signs, and maybe you got New Edition as your backup dancers in the back. Every step I take. Well, that's Bobby Brown, but y'all get the point. And y'all dressed up in neon colors, and no, the world is flat. I paid $50,000 on helium balloons to prove that it's flat. I spent a lot of money doing so. It's flat. You have to pay attention to what I'm saying. All I'm going to do is look at you from the podium and say, where's your proof? And if you ain't got no proof, I'm going to tell you in so many words to sit your crazy ass down, period. That's how we roll here. We pride ourselves on creating an atmosphere where people can learn the facts about Stadia. I've had plenty of people back in the day come to me and say, behind the scenes, and say, man, you're making me look bad. Like, no, it's nothing personal. It's nothing personal. But if you come and you challenge me, I can't sit there and say, hey, look, this is Bebop, or this is Rocksteady, or whoever. This is Jane or Jill. So they challenge me. I just got to let it go. Even though so-and-so came up in here 5 minutes earlier and said something, I tore them to shreds, but because you Bebop or Jane, I'm going to let you go. No. The truth is the truth. I don't care if you said it Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. If you ain't saying it Friday and you coming up here in the house of Stadia, you're going to get the truth. We also pride ourselves on creating a safe haven where people can enjoy the platform if they're enjoying it. That doesn't mean that people that don't have negative connotations can't express their negative connotations. Sure. And then I'll respond, and whatever. And you say, well, look, I get where you're coming from, but I don't feel that way. Blah. That's fine. But if you come in the house of Stadia testing my integrity, you're going to get what you get. See, when it comes to what we do here as a platform, we want our individual contributors to get the help that they need to promote their content, and our core contributors, the people that are writing or helping plan out the website and all that other stuff, we allow them to bring their brand of insight and entertainment to whatever they're doing to help out the platform, whatever, in a way that keeps still work authentic and transparent, but again, still caters to the community that they're servicing. So when it comes to, for example, StadiaDosage, this platform is a counter narrative to the emotion-filled conjecture that's out there about Stadia. Anybody, and I mean anybody, that brings that energy here will be met with the usual ways that we deal with that energy. It's nothing personal. Like I've had to tell people, you're making me look bad. No, I'm dealing with what's being said, but we do it in the way that we do it. I've never played about it, never will. Y'all know this. It's no hard feelings. to the receiver on the other end, it's like Obama said when he hit that J from the side during the Biden campaign. It's what I do. Everyone is welcome to come enjoy the content, speak their piece, and even challenge what we say. But if you're trying to test our integrity, talk in absolutes without the facts, and do this routinely, you know what's coming, baby. Therefore, like we say in these streets, take it or squeeze it. Black, bop, bop, bop. That's the only way I'm going to explain it. I do what I do. It's the only explanation I'm giving for what I do. It's already known. There are no exceptions. On to today's show. With that said, let's get into today's topics. We only got two of them. Topic number one, Stadia's future. Topic number two, the community. Let's gray out the community because we're going to talk about Stadia's future. So, our good friends, Sunny Cloud Gaming and Clive and Linden, had some hellified content over the week. I hope you guys got a chance to catch it. I caught Sunny's over the weekend. I caught Clive's late yesterday before I went live on Sound Off. And I hope that you guys really, really listened. If you're on a fact-finding tour. If you're not on a fact-finding tour and you just want to belong to a camp that's thrown up their hands, then it serves you no purpose. It's not going to feed your narrative. But if you're on a fact-finding tour, I think that what Sunny did, or what Sunny said, Clive said, along with things that we've said here. But I'm just gonna start from when Sunny. We're gonna do Sunny BC, or Sunny AD. We're gonna start from when Sunny said, and then we're gonna work our way forward from there to help illustrate what is the likely future of the platform. Because we can put out facts, and I put out a bunch of facts, and I've put out facts to show you how we got here, depending upon how you feel about here. But people have questions like, well, what should I expect? I don't know what to expect. And that's understandable. So I'll put it like this. So when you start with Sunny, Sunny had mentioned that something that we've said was that last show, and we've even said earlier this year, there was a misconception. And I've even admitted that when I first heard about the pivot, I too fell into this misconception. But when we got the information that we got, then we better understood what was happening. That misconception is that when SG&E closed, we were under the impression that the money was going to be taken from SG&E and used for them to get on the phone and call publishers and developers and say, okay, we had this money earmarked for this. It's now available for you. Come and get it if you bring your game over. That was the original thought. That was wrong. We then got some vital information on how that money was being used. That money was being used after Alphabet approached Google about the porting problems, about why they were continuing, why after the first year they still were being expected to pay tens of millions of dollars for ports when the competition isn't. They were told, you need to go to these developers and find out what's going on. So they went to the developers, along with Stadia. Them and Stadia worked together to go to the developers, figure out what the issues were. And they said, okay, here's what they're saying the problems are. Here's what we've strategized in order to fix it. Here's what we need to fix it. Now, apparently, the closure of SG&E's funds wasn't enough to cover this and other Stadia / immersive stream initiatives. So additional funds had to be invested in order to get here. So that's where I'll just remember that. Again, that's what we were told. As a check was written, after that was done, and people went to work into making these tools available, or making these tools better and available. People were like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Sure. And then a few months later, what happened? People found out that what we said, what we talked about was true, because it came out in the form of the low charge or low change porting, right? So after the low change porting was announced, was talked about, during that era, Google did an interview with GameIndustry.biz, where GameIndustry.biz themselves said, you know what? We've been dogging out Stadia, but the inevitable closure of the platform it's not happening if they're doing all this stuff, if they're doing these initiatives with the pro split, if they're now going to 85-15 to entice developers. And that 85-15 is really going to entice AAA developers. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're in a situation like, all right, let me give you a prime example. So one of the questions that was posed to me was, what is the incentive in developing for Stadia over GFN, even if the tools, even if the porting is both the same, like even if it's turnkey and it has no effort for both, right? Understandable question. But that question is based on the assumption that Geforce now is responsible for way more video game purchases than Stadia is. And that's not true. According to what GFN's vice president said, Phil Eisler. Phil Eisler did an interview with Techland, and he stated that Geforce Now is responsible for millions of games being sold. Millions? We can say Stadia is responsible for millions, not tens of millions, not hundreds, just millions. That's in the same realm of Stadia. Don't forget all the engagement that we had just in 1 month because of Cyberpunk 2077 in December. Don't forget that in, what was that, May or March of 2021, just off of app downloads alone, they closed in on 3.2 million. Don't forget in December that you were able, December of 2020 at that, you were able to engage with the platform without access to the app. And don't forget in 2021, the PWA application, the progressive web app that allowed you to, even on your phone, use a Chromium-based browser to interact with Stadia without having to download the app. So we could argue that with all the engagements and the signups and people like, oh, you know what? This game is on sale. Let me buy this game. We could argue that Stadia is in the millions as far as sales. And there's nothing wrong with that for GFN. It contradicts the theory that right now GFN introduces gamers or introduces publishers to more potential sales than Stadia does. I mean, you can be technical and say, yeah, GFN's millions is 7 million, where Stadia's millions is 5 million. You know, okay, technically more, but I'm saying like that much more? No. They're both operating in the millions as far as sales that would have been contributed since launch. And that's okay because, again, it's a 1% business for cloud. Everybody doesn't trust the cloud. It's not that these platforms aren't capable. People just don't trust the mainstream gamers just don't trust the cloud. So with that being said, if Stadia now has an 85-15 split, opposed to where a developer that says, oh, okay, well, I'll get an extra few million. I mean, there was an extra pool of an additional few million. Doesn't mean that they're going to get all those millions of sales. It just means, okay, we could get more money. Where you're dealing with generally a similar pool as far as potential copies being sold based off of GFN usage alone, meaning these people don't have any other hardware to play it on. They're solely relying on GFN to play these games. Phil Eisler said that those contributions are in the millions. Which again, I'm not saying is bad at all. I'm just saying, just so we have numbers that go along and put our conjecture and our emotions in check. That's what we're talking about. So if you got one platform that's operating in the millions, another platform that's operating in the millions, but one platform says, hey, if you put your games over here and you're going to get 85% back, and we got this Stadia Pro thing happening too, if you put your game in Stadia Pro, competition doesn't have that. So that's where it becomes lucrative. Because over there in PC land, unless it's Epic Game Store, split is 70-30. Now, to be fair, over at Stadia, for the first 3 million made, it's 85-15. Then after that 3 million, it's, goes back to 70-30. That's all the way up until October 30th of next year of 2023. But again, if you got two pools that are operating in the millions, one I get 70% return rate on, or I get 70% of the sales. The other one I get 85% of the sales. And if I put my game, maybe a few months later in this Stadia Pro thing, I get additional money that I'm not getting over here. Wow. That's where it does become lucrative. I'm not saying one's more lucrative for the publisher or another, because we don't know what millions GFN's talking about versus Stadia millions. But Stadia Pro, we've seen it with different percentages elsewhere. But Stadia Pro definitely can help numbers fluctuate in their favor. But that's where it is lucrative for Stadia. Right? So you got all these initiatives that Stadia's working on, that even GameIndustry.biz, who has been lambasting Stadia since launch, finally just gave up and said, you know what? Doesn't look like that things are so grim. Things are so bleak if they're doing all this. You just got to watch this space. And they stopped because they're GameIndustry.biz, and they realized that what we don't realize is that this stuff takes time to develop. So they're watching it play out. And they're watching it develop. And once it's fully developed and it's out there, then you can expect all these outlets. That's why these outlets have stopped. Except for some of these radical outlets, The main outlets like Verge and them, they've stopped attacking Stadia. They stopped it. You don't see the articles anymore. Oh, Stadia's not getting mad. No, oh, Stadia's not. They used to run wild with that. There's a reason why they stopped. They get it now. They're going through a pivot. Maybe their scope was just a little bit too much, but it wasn't as big as we thought it was. Okay, now we get it. So they know that they can't evaluate what Stadia is doing until it rolls out. So they're waiting for it to roll out. So you have all that happening, right? And people are confused because we're more than 6 months into the year and we only got 28 games. And I can tell you right now, unless I'm wrong, that's less than 2020. Now, at one point in time, we were saying that, let me see if I can find it. We were saying that, no, it's around the same as 2020. Now it's officially worse than 2020. All right, let's take a look at it. Let me show you something. This is the Stadia wiki. All right, let's go to 2020. All right, and by June, what's today's date? June 7th. Let me go back to the social. Let's June 7th. Okay, I can't go by June 7th. Okay, by June, well, no, I'm sorry, I'm a liar. By June 16th, we had 28 games, and I think we have 28 games now. So it's about the same. Wow, that's interesting. But what I will say is that even though we're at the same volume-wise, the quality of the games were better in 2020. So I get it. But we kind of understand, but we should understand now why that's the case. Back then, these people were being paid to do this. Now they're not being paid anymore because Stadia's relying on the low change porting to fix all that. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, if the low change porting is the work, it's more of this crazy talk. I can't deal with it. If the low change porting is the work, how come people not bringing their DLCs? It's still in beta. Again, we told you it's not being fully rolled out until the end of this year. I told you that because that was told to me by the Paratrope developers of Sky Climbers. That's what we've heard. This isn't going to be fully rolled out in its full form for developers until the end of the year. We also told you, don't expect, I'm in low change porting and then 2 weeks later, games are going to pop. Negotiations have to go through. People got to test it out. They got to see, okay, all right, well, I put it through low change porting and I was able to get 4K 60 with no problem. All right, fine. Let's do it. Or I put it through low change porting and for some reason, the best I can get is 1440p 30. I got to manually tweak some stuff unless you people are going to do it. So, if I got to manually tweak it, I need $2 million for that. Stuff still has to be negotiated. So that's why we said earlier in the year, don't expect this to mean that games are coming necessarily in 2022 or that the AAA games are coming in 2022. We said 2023. I could be wrong about that, but I'm just trying to help set expectations based off of what we do know about the low change porting and where they're progressing at. We don't know a lot. The only thing that we know is that some teams have tested it. The teams that have tested it hasn't led to horrible results. MotoGP 21 used it. MotoGP 21 looks better than MotoGP 20, which was manually developed. So it was a good match there. However, for World War Z, they used it It seems like they used it and just sent out whatever results there were, where at least at the time early on in its beta, it could spit out 1080p 60. And I don't think Saber Interactive planned to do anything more beyond that, because if they were, they're going to have to get paid for it. And again, Stadia's trying to get out of that fickle. So we're in the same place that we were in 2020 with games. And then guess what happened? Look at the games just started coming out of nowhere. The same is going to have to happen here. They've never walked back having over 100 games. The question is, what type of games are they going to be? We'll have to see. Now, right now, we're at 28 games as of June 1st. So we're kind of like ahead of 2020. And remember, in 2020, we were told that Stadia was shutting down because of the current state of affairs of only having 28 games halfway through the year. We've been here before. We've heard this sad tune before. I will concede, definitely, when you look at these games here and you look at the games here in 2020, there's a different quality scale, yes. And we know why. With that said, I do believe that just like a lot of the big publishers that used to hammer Stadia 24/7 believe that this is a process that's going to take some time to roll out, and we got to see its engagement once it rolls out. So here's my expectation, and here's why I think we're here, based off of what we know. I think developers are willing to develop for Stadia. Even big name publishers are willing to do it for Stadia. Maybe not all, but I think a good number of them are willing to do it. I think a good number of them are willing to do it for any cloud platform. You know what I'm saying? As long as there's some halfway decent residuals involved. I want to use GFN as an example, because as far as them accomplishing the goals that they've set out, I'll give them credit. They've accomplished and executed the goals as far as what the platform can do that they've set out, right? So GFN has brought in millions of sales for a cloud gaming platform. They've been able to determine that there have been millions of more sales based off of people that could only play these games based off of GFN than it would be. All right, that's collectively, that's total, and I think that's good for a cloud 1% business. I think that's good. I think Stadia offers somewhere in that realm the same amount of exposure, just with a different group. And on top of that, there are additional incentives through Stadia Pro, which I think if developers are willing to say, oh, okay, well, we get access to possibly millions more. All right. They would be able to do it for Stadia, as long as the input is minimal. I do agree with Clive that expansion would help raise those possibilities drastically. But in my assessment, I think it's more based upon the porting. Now, when are we going to see expansion? I don't know. Is it going to be 2022, 2023? At some point in time, they do have to expand. I don't know. Clive is leaning more towards this year. So we'll see if he's right there. I wouldn't bet against Clive. But I think for instance, GFN and Stadia are in good places to where they provide enough incentive for people to put their games on the platform as long as the effort is minimal. GFN has that going for it. Stadia doesn't. I think it's no more clear cut than that for a lot of it. And we'll have to let this process play itself out so we can tangibly see how successful it will be. But that's what's going on, simply put. So I do agree with the assessment of don't rest your laurels on seeing an explosion of AAA games this year. I think you're gonna see a bunch of games coming through because Stadia has yet to renege on its 100+ games promise. They have yet to do that. They've met it each year. It's just, the question is, what types of games are we gonna get? And in a year, now hold on here, in a year where we're likely getting Ghost Recon, not Ghost Recon, in a year where we're likely getting Avatar, Heartlands, and quite possibly X-Defiant, I'm Gucci. Would I love to see Dying Light? Yeah, absolutely. Would I love to see Hogwarts Legacy? Oh, yeah. But in a year where we're likely getting Avatar, Heartlands, and quite possibly X-Defiant, I'm Gucci. I still got a back catalog of games that I was authentically excited about that I haven't been able to finish. I got to go finish those. And I'm still not going to be able to finish all those games in enough time because Division keeps taking my soul. Like, they got an apparel campaign right now that as soon as I get off the mic with y'all, I got to jump in with the old dirty blasters and we got to do that. I'm Gucci. And guess what? A lot of people that fit the demographic of this platform, they're Gucci as well. Because guess what, y'all? Unless you got a PlayStation, I get that Xbox got a showcase coming, but I don't think that they're going to have any other AAA content coming this year. Unless you're PlayStation, which I got one of those too. Don't expect any AAA content, or don't expect much of it for the remainder of the year. Everybody's telling you there's a AAA drought. And it's all about the indies. So Stadia might have lucked out and they're having this AAA drought in a year where there's not a lot of AAAs to begin with. And hopefully things will pan out in 2023 with AAAs via the low change porting. Now that I can't tell you, oh, that's definitely going to be successful. No, I can't tell you that. What I can tell you, though, is opposed to a lot of the rhetoric out there, they have not abandoned getting AAA games. They just decided, which I think is a smart move, to not stay in that trap of paying for them. They want the efforts to come through the low change porting, like GFN doesn't pay for its ports. They're staunch about that. We're not paying for nothing. Xbox ain't paying for ports. We ain't paying for nothing. It's a flip of the switch. I don't think Luna's paying for ports either. Their process is quote unquote turnkey. And Shadow's not paying for ports, right? I don't want to, I'll speak there, but because it ain't nothing to get these games available on those services or slash platforms. Stadia is the only one that requires effort like it's a mainstream platform when it's not. And as long as they fix that problem, I see games coming there too, and they will pursue those games. So hopefully people understand that. They will follow the facts, and like the rest of us, let's wait and see. Now, as a gamer, I'm not telling you, if you're disappointed, just deal with it and don't open your mouth. No, as I said earlier, who was that? I don't want to put him on blast because I don't want people to negatively go, but somebody had put on Twitter, I think one of the idealistically modeled tweets that you could put out there if you feel this way. The person said, "Oh my goodness, I just found out Madden is not coming to the platform. That is the main reason why I'm here. Yes, I play other games, but wherever platform I'm at, Madden has to be there. Being that Madden's not here, I'm sorry. I gotta abandon this platform." He's speaking for himself. He's not going out in the weeds and making up conjecture or tying things together that just don't tie together. He's speaking facts about his use case, and he's putting it out there, I think, in a fathomable way that other people that feel the same way can do that. Speak for their use case. Don't get into this conjecture. Yeah, Stadia's done. It's over. They're going to shut down. They never wanted AAAs in the first, coming up with all these lies and conjecture. No, speak for the use case of that game and talk about what you're going to do. You can speak for yourself in that case. So speak about what you're going to do. And hopefully leave a thread or an olive branch open to others that might feel that way, so Stadia can see that collectively. And again, like I said earlier, because Stadia is acting on a lot of data. They can look at that and they can say, okay, well, hold on. Now, originally, here goes something interesting, folks. Originally, when we got Madden, we thought that this was gonna break open the mold and bring a lot of people here. We kind of saw that in 2021, but then it flatlined in 2022. And all we saw was the same people that was playing it in 2021, many of which aren't new gamers to Stadia, and many of which, even though they are new gamers, they aren't buying anything else on the platform. So our costs bit or our revenue, we're in the red revenue wise, because what it's going to take for us to pay to get this game on the platform, we're not in the green. But if it was leading to, if it was an olive branch or a gateway to people coming to the platform and buying other games, then yeah. But it's not happening. And then it got even worse with 2022. Man, that's why I know, folks, we originally weren't going to pay for this to come day and date and invest those costs that we're trying to avoid. But look at this response out here on Twitter. Yeah, crunched up. Yeah, it seems like that people are invigorated this time for 2023, and 2023 might be different. See, this is where we're because we're not acclimated to the business side, we're not thinking about it. Again, Madden generally is something that you want to have on your platform because it brings casuals and it brings a swath of gamers, rather. It brings a lot of casuals and it brings a lot of people that will infiltrate your platform and buy other stuff. But for a 1% niche business, it may not mimic what happens on the mainstream platforms as it does here. It's very well likely that when Stadia looked at these statistics, Madden isn't doing that. And that's definitely the case. Now we got to watch this space. Again, we don't know. This part is all speculative. I'm just putting it out here on the business side for us to think about. It's speculative now, but I can guarantee it, and you can clip this shit I can guarantee it that if we see FIFA come here day and date, but we didn't see Madden, that's what happened. Now, if we don't see both, that's all conjecture that didn't pan out to anything. I'll admit that. But if we do see it, if we see FIFA on here day and date, but we didn't see Madden, that's what happened. And just from our business acumen, that for those of you that have been paying attention here, and you've been growing your business acumen because you've been paying attention here, you would have been able to connect those dots. All right. So that's what I have to say about the whole Madden thing. Those are my thoughts on Madden. That's my thoughts on the AAA thing. Anything's possible at this point in time, because Sonny had heard April, that people started getting this in April. I heard the end of the year. Now, here's the thing though. Sonny heard it from a bigger publisher, which would make sense. Bigger publishers get access to this thing earlier than the smaller ones. I heard it from the smaller devs, end of this year. So we'll see. And again, it's Sunny Cloud Gaming, so you don't bet against Sunny, baby. So anything's possible, but I'm setting the expectation and what I think is the most plausible, which I think the most plausible is, I don't think we're going to see, AAA games are coming, but I don't think we're going to see them outside of the Ubisoft titles until next year. And then we'll have to see at what rate they're coming next year. You know what I mean? So that's my take on it. But again, for those that are looking at what's happening and assessing that Stadia again is closing down again the third straight year, or they're abandoning AAAs, no, I get it. Sometimes fiction is sexier than the truth. It's all about the porting. Period. It keeps being brought up. Everybody that I talk to, it keeps being brought up that everybody close to the front lines, that's what they're the porting. It's the porting. I know how we feel, and I get it. But we're 3 years in now, especially if you've been following this channel for 3. I can't keep. This is not a couch. I can't keep convincing you why the world is round and not flat. At some point in time, I just got to look at you and walk away and say, okay, the rest that get it, come follow me. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. All right. Before we get to our last topic, which is also very important, let me go see what's going on in this chat. Stadia is definitely down, definitely on fire. Shut your ass up. Tired of you, Amino. Shut your ass up. What else we got here? To be honest, with the way AAA games are coming out in their samey nature, yeah. Again, I'm not trying to downplay people's desires for AAA game. Like, I'm not a big Elden Ring fan, but that's going to be the game of the year, right? Undoubtedly, everybody and their grandmammy's playing Elden Ring, right? I even had my daughter. I ran into my daughter while my wife was having surgery. She's in charge of the dietary thing, and it was funny because my wife, for some reason, when she's in the hospital, she wants the worst food, and then my daughter was like, "Mom can't have that. She can't have that." Like, she's calling up to the hospital room. She's like, she can't have that. she can't eat that. Like, damn. But anyway, because I wanted some too. Like, damn. But anyway, even she was like, I was talking, I ain't talked to her in a while. Me and my daughter have a back and forth relationship. She gets mad at me at the most trivial things. She won't talk to me. So we ran into her. I ran into her in the cafeteria. Me and her were talking, and she's like, "Well, how's it going, Dad, with the video game thing?" I said, "Oh, it's cool. It is, you know, blah, 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 we're rapping." She's like, "You know what? I was playing Elden Ring." And I was like, "What?" Like, "Yeah, I was playing it with my boyfriend." I said, whoa, who? So that was a whole nother discussion. But everybody, my daughter, she had a traumatic experience when she was 16, right? When Mass Effect 2 came out, was it? No. When Borderlands 2 came out, and I had pulled an all-nighter because I had worked 10 hours that day at work, and I was making the midnight release. So I did like a 6 to 6, and normally I would go to sleep, but I was keeping myself up. I was drinking energy drinks, doing all types of stuff. And my daughter's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, I'm getting Borderlands 2, and I'm staying up for the midnight release for Borderlands 2. I said, because I'm off tomorrow. And she said, "Oh, okay, all right." She's like, "Well, Dad, can I come with you?" And she was playing, and at the time she was, she's just trying to be like her dad. She was playing Mass Effect, right? Mass Effect 2, I think it was. And trying to get into gaming like how her dad was. So she's like, "Well, Dad, I want to go to the Borderlands thing with you." And I said, "Okay." So we go. And there was a bunch of nerds in there at the midnight release, right? So she's in there talking, her and my youngest son, they just blah, 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 blah. So she's talking my head off, and everybody's just like, they're glancing back and they're like, "I wish she would shut up." But then they're looking up at me and they're like, "But I don't want him to pummel me in the back of my head." So we're sitting there with all these nerds, right? She's just talking and talking and talking and talking. And then she made the fatal mistake. We go into Borderlands. She looks at something and she said, "Oh, is that Tally from Mass Effect 2? There was like an audible gasp in the room. And those nerds went crazy. They didn't give that's when they didn't care how much bigger I was than they were or whatever. They went bananas. "What is the Tally? Who? What? The Mass Effect?" I was like, so we just stood in the line and they wouldn't turn around and say anything to us, but they just were just yelling at each other. And I just grabbed my copy of Borderlands 2, and my daughter was like, "What was that all about?" I said, "Sweetheart, never make the cardinal sin of just bringing up Mass Effect 2 when they're two totally different crowds, whatever." But but then after that, she was traumatized, didn't touch a video game since, right? So that was like what? I want to say maybe 10 years ago. Fast forward to now, Dad, I was playing Elden Ring. I haven't even played Elden Ring yet. Everybody's playing Elden Ring, right? So I don't want to disregard the wants of other gamers. No, of course not. I'm just explaining to you why things are happening the way that they are, so you can decide factually, not based off of someone's conjecture or their emotions, based off the facts, if this is something that you should continue to keep an eye on. When I say keep an eye, some people may decide to keep an eye on it by, "Oh, okay, well, I'm still comfortable with the platform. I'm going to continue to invest because I'm really enjoying it. So all hope isn't lost. Just they're going through something. We got to see if it works out for them." Or your way of keeping an eye on it could be, "Well, you know what? I tried. I can't deal with this right now. I need to have these games. I got to have access to these games, or I got to have access to this performance. So I'll keep an eye on it from a distance, but right now I got to go somewhere else and satisfy my needs." That is what, or you may just decide, nope. I agree with what you're saying, but nope, it's not good enough for me. Nope. I'm not coming back. Nope. But as long as the truth is out there to help you make your decision, that's all I need to do. Because I can't make the decision for you. Nor am I in the game to try to help out a multi-billion-dollar, but no. A community wants to be, there's people that want to be educated on this because it could be useful to them. There's a community that's enjoying it. We're trying to fix both needs. All right. But yeah, I'm with Dusty. I'm not, the catalog that hasn't hit Stadia doesn't impress me so much to where I'm even upset. Indies are small business of the industry. What people may need to realize is that indie devs come from AAA. I'm willing to bet that the middle end of next year, Stadia is going to shine. Whomever can hang in there until then, I get it. But if you love the platform, I do. Better times are coming. Yeah, again, exactly. This is never have I said, believe what I'm saying and you got to stick with this platform. I am not in the business of convincing people what they have to like. I'm in the business of telling people the truth about what's going and helping to discover the truth and telling them the truth about the platform, because I was almost misled about this platform. I was almost misled to a point to where I would have never picked it up, and there would be no MM2K. There would be no Stadia Dosage. There'd be no StadiaDosage.com. There would be no Chill Times with Squid. There would be no SSC podcast. There would be no SLS featuring MM2K. There would have been none of the things associated to this platform they would have ever happened. None of it. None of it. Because the platform wouldn't have been here. The platform is only here because I was like, damn, everybody's lying about what's going on here. Let's try to, and I didn't realize there were other content creators. I said, let's try to create some truth here. And then I tried doing it on my channel, and then my channel is full of dedicated device hogs. They weren't trying to hear that shit. Excuse my French. So I said, okay, we got to create its own solo platform. We had to start from scratch. That's okay. We get it. We weren't mad at them because they wouldn't accept what we wanted them to accept. I didn't sit there and say, oh, I'm almost at 1,000 and you guys won't accept what I want to feed you, so screw you and your dedicated device stands and this, that. I didn't do that. I just said, okay, this is not what y'all came here for in the first place. I get it. Yeah, I ain't going for the switcheroony. I got to start from scratch with people and provide what they came here for. And to help mitigate any confusion, when we built the platform wasn't about a content creator or a group of content creators. That's why it was called Stadia Dosage, because it was a platform for the community by the community. I want to get an ultra mega powerful gaming PC with the RTX 3090, but I'll settle for my gaming laptop with the RTX 3060. Yeah, I mean, if you could swing that, brother. Ooh, a 3090. Good Lord. Jesus. If you can swing it, get it. New markets are the future of Stadia. Personally, though, I do believe that Google needs to incorporate the likes of YouTube into the Stadia package. Yeah, and that's their apex. That's what Phil Harrison said in that interview with Eurogamer, where they looked at what was going on with the platform and its purpose, and they said ultimately, now right now, it's a platform of ports. That's what it is right now, because that's all developers are using it for. But when Stadia reaches its apex, it's bigger than a console. They said, don't look at us like a console. Look at us as a place. And that's 1,000% right. So that's why a lot of this dev talk is crazy, because they're building to, you can argue that they're still building to put up a foundation or a major pillar. They're still building to that. They realize that in these early years, while they're building to that main foundation, that they still have a retail product that people would appreciate. But what Stadia is today is not all of Stadia. Stadia is going to be a technical marvel that connects YouTube gamers to their audience in ways that simply aren't going to be done except for maybe Twitch and Luna. So, it's just that right now they do have a product that can service people at the retail level right now. And it's something to catapult from. They said there's no reason that Stadia is not using YouTube like Twitch does other platforms. They said I also copped the GFN 3080. I had the 6 months free from AT&T, and it extended my time to 6 months for next year. Jay Wags, what's going on, good brother? Good to see you. Hold on one second. The general just busted in here like she got a warrant. Hold on. Jay Wags in the house. He says, damn, I finally chat, bro. I can't keep up with how many channels. Hey, look, well, I know. Yeah, hold on. I was about to say, this is the only one that I'm on. I know I'm a liar, right? So there's StadiaDosage Streams, which is another YouTube channel. And then there's the other channel, which is StadiaDosage Plus, which is going to be a hybrid of like the talk and gameplay. Look, man, Twitch is it. Look, I love YouTube, don't get me wrong. Twitch is a very powerful platform, man. And it got its own grouping of things that make it great. So I love being on Twitch. So yeah, I know. It's kind of dizzying, Wags. You can catch me everywhere but except my own channel, which that's gonna change soon now. We're gonna rap. But the legendary J Wags in the house. The Asian market is the next big market. It would be all about cause. Stadia and Amazon are in prime positions for these markets. Let's see here. Oh shoot, here come Jeff G. Jeff G said, no man 23, I will just play it on Luna or GFN. Hey Jeff, stop it. Stop it, Jeff, stop it. He says, do you remember that game from 2014 that was supposed to release Dead Island? Yeah, I do remember that, Casey. I do. Because my son loves Dead Island 2. Oh, here goes Jeff G again. Come on, Jeff. He says, fact. Madden is not on Stadia because of EA. It has zero to do with Stadia or money or anything. It's 100% a skill of set of the employees, which is why EA is for sale. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you put up a very compelling case, Jeff. I just don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Because Jeff, you got if FIFA comes to Stadia, then you got to explain Stadia. I mean, you got to explain FIFA. Personally, I can't see getting one just for cloud, but because PlayStation is into PC gaming, Xbox already is. These little PC handhelds are compelling. There are games not in the cloud that interest me. Yeah, absolutely. You got it. Look, gaming is a selfish hobby. You got to go where you got to go. Even me, Mr. Stadia himself, where I spend 90% of my time on Stadia. I mean, that might flatten out just a tad bit. Might be like 70-30, 70 Stadia, 30% my PC and my PlayStation 5, especially when God of War comes out. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see. We'll see how long I'm gonna hold out on Dying Light 2. You know, if let's do this. Which I hate doing this, y'all. And please, before I go here, I want to preface this with this. Do not take this as me saying that because this is when things picked up in 2020 this is when things are going to be picking up in 2022. Two totally different situations. So we don't know when the bulk of these games are going to come for Stadia. But here's what I do want to show you. All right, so just some food for thought. But again, do not run with this like I'm saying, yeah, this is when the games are going to pick up. All right, so we were at 28 games in 2020. Jesus, all the way up until the 16th. Then the 23rd, we got 3 games. Then the 30th, we got a game. Then on the 1st, we got a bunch of, we got 3, I guess, pro games. The 7th, we got a game. The 14th, we got 2 games. The 15th, we got another game. You see that? So it looks like every week there were about 3 games coming. 3 to 4 games coming every week. Look at the holy cow. Look at September. September 1st alone, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then in that week, you got 7 games there. Now, granted, we got 7 games in for Stadia Pro, you know what I'm saying? And then I guess a total, well, no, they're just 7 games. But just so that helps you guys understand. So we got 7 games that week. This week, we got 3. You see what I'm saying? You see this? So it was like 3 after, and that kicked off at the end of June. Maybe it'll be the same. I don't know. Maybe it'll be the same. I don't know. But we started getting 3 to 4 games every week. If we get 3 to 4 games every week, we're going to hit that 100. We have to. That has to be the rate. When is it now? If it starts, if that doesn't start until, it depends on when it starts. If it starts at the end of June or the midway part of June, like it did in 2020, then, you know what I mean? Then it'll be 3 to 4 games. If it doesn't start till later, it'll have to be 4 to 5 games. You understand what I'm saying? But now I think it makes sense to where it's not impossible. Like people are angst. I just wanted to show you guys the numbers. 4 to 5 games a week isn't impossible, right? So I just wanted to show people who were having angst. Oh, this is impossible. If we do like 4 to 5 games every week for the rest of the month, like, okay, so for instance, let's do the math. There's 52 weeks in a year, right? 52, yeah. So 26. Let's do the math. 26 times 5 equals, okay. Well, I didn't want to do 5. Let's do 3. 26 times 3 equals 78. So if they start this, maybe I shouldn't do 26. I'll do 24. If we're following the same formula, 24 times 3 equals 72. If we're following the same formula that happened in 2020, which again, I repeat, there's 2 totally different things happening here. One was delays and stuff like that, and just whenever people could get to the games in 2020, there was contracts set up. Stadia paid for those games, so that's what they did, right? In 2022 was a completely different thing. It's load change porting, people waiting for that and saying, look, I'd rather wait for the load change porting, and then they're taking it from there, right? So my thing is that if they start this around the same time that they did in 2020, if they release 3 games a week for the remaining 24 weeks after the middle of June, that's 72 games. 72 plus 28 is 100. That's just off of 3 games a week. 3 games a week is not a lot. Why do we know 3 games a week isn't a lot? Because that's the average of games that we got in 2020, and we were still grumbling. We were still upset. We were still mad. So 3 games a week, so it's not impossible for them to reach over 100 games. If they started, what? Let's see here. Let's see if they do it in the middle of July instead. 20 times 4 equals 80. 20 times 3 equals 60. So they would have to do like around 4 games. So if they waited till the end, to the middle of July to put out games, or for the games to start coming in. And when I say they, I mean I'm talking about the publishers, and whenever they get done doing whatever it is that they got to do. If that doesn't happen until July, the middle of July, then we're talking about 4 games a week. And again, not impossible. That's not a lot. That's around the same amount that we've had in 2020, and we were still fussing up a storm then, right? So hopefully that makes sense. Again, a lot of this stuff, when we're having angst and we're getting angry, don't go to Twitter. All I did was went to the Reddit and looked at the number of games. I mean, I'm not doing anything special here. Don't get into these cluster blanks and the misleading group factors over on Twitter. Go just kick the tires your damn self. That's all I did, is I went to the Reddit and I counted. Use the calculator, for crying out loud. That's all you gotta do. All right, let's keep going on. If God of War comes this year, it will beat Elden Ring. I don't know. I mean, the PlayStation bunch, they're going to put up a fight for that to happen. But I don't know. Like, the Xbox, here's what it will be. It's going to be the Xbox brass and the rest of the gaming community. But it's going to be the Xbox brass and the rest of the gaming community versus the PlayStation community, right? And if the PlayStation community, even if they are as vocal as they were before, the Xbox community now is very vocal. And because they're very vocal, I don't know, like, I think all hell would break loose unless God of War first and foremost, just on the one platform alone, which I know wouldn't be fair. God of War would have to shred Elden Ring's numbers. If God of War shred Elden Ring's numbers, then yeah. But the PlayStation Nation, they got a tough hill to climb as far as court of a public opinion with God of War, because God of War, God of War is going to be contested from the PlayStation brass anyway. I mean, not the PlayStation, but it's going to be contested by the Xbox community anyway. They're going to root for Elden Ring. I can tell you that right now. The battle is going to be between Elden Ring and God of War. If like Cowboy says, God of War releases this year, and the Xbox community is going to fight tooth and nail for God of War not to win and for it to be Elden Ring because it was multi-plat. And it's going to be bloody murder if God of War wins, unless God of War like destroys Elden Ring's numbers. And again, I know that's not fair because Elden Ring is a multi-plat. But if God of War doesn't destroy Elden Ring numbers, which they can, because there'll be enough PlayStations out there. They're already at 20 million. They're bumping up supply, so they might, who knows? I don't know. Might get to another 5 million or so by the end of the year. We'll see. There will be enough, but they would have to have. No, God of War, is it going to be? I think it's going to be cross generation. So if God of War is going to be cross generation, then it doesn't matter how many PlayStation 5s are going to be out there. They'll have enough to do it. Yeah, if they destroy it, they'll have enough to do it. They'll have enough PlayStations out there, 4s and 5s, if it's cross generation. But if it doesn't shred, and I know it's going to be on the market a lot less, like people are talking about November. But that's just how unfair the gaming community is. Everybody play Elden Ring, but nobody ringing up the Elder. Shake my head. Tommy Rocks in the house. What's up, Tommy? If which I don't think FIFA comes to Stadia, then I will be happy to explain it for you. I will speak some. Hey, Jeff. Hey, look, I ain't had those many lead. Oh my God, you gave me a cramp in my stomach. Oh, hey, Jeff, stop it, man. Jeff, you coming on the show this Thursday? We're gonna be Thursday. I promise you, because there's not that much news. I promise you, I won't hold you for decades and decades like I did this time. This dude is crazy. You gotta come on the show this Thursday. It probably Madden 22 didn't sell well on Stadia. FIFA probably did better. Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. We will have tall tale signs of what's going on if FIFA comes, but Madden doesn't. Oh man, that's funny. The dry season lasts to December with the release of Callisto Protocol. Then the games are coming on a string. I bought my daughter 3080 PC for $1,500, and I will admit games look damn beautiful, but it was $1,500. You pay for the premium experience, yeah, absolutely. So I have 4 cloud solutions. My ranking: Stadia, GFN, Luna, xCloud. Didn't in indie game win? Yeah, it did. I believe so. What game? Yeah, It Takes Two, the one last year. So it's not about the sale numbers. Games that win Game of the Year is typically story driven. The way God of War left off that alone. Well, no. Here's what happened. That's why I say it. And again, I hate to put out, but it pays to know the people that are connected. Here's what happened. Red Dead was supposed to walk away with that. But the PlayStation community, along with Jeff Keighley, because he's a PlayStation fanboy, let's keep it real. Even though they have a group or a panel. Here's what happened. Red Dead was supposed to walk away with that. But because the PlayStation community was so active and made such a fuss about Red Dead being boring and all this stuff, even though it was getting these 10s and all these great scores, and even though Red Dead was busting it out the seams, that they made a compelling enough argument to sway God of War being picked. And once God of War was picked there, that sent tidal waves across other award shows, because those other award shows didn't want to seem like they were pandering to Red Dead, which the PlayStation community labeled people that pick Red Dead so much and hating on PlayStation. They were effective in that campaign. That's what happened there. So the reason why I'm bringing up sales is, just like that PlayStation community was so vocal then, the Xbox community of today are very reminiscent in their effectiveness in causing damage. You know what I'm saying? They're like that now. And unless God of War gets scores and or sales that decimate Elden Ring, you're going to see that level of ampness attack the community. And I think they're going to have PC gamers on their side, and they might overcome PlayStation gamers this year. Like say what you will about the Xbox itself. Its community is a beast this time around. Its community is a beast. I remember again having this conversation with Dirk Griggity before they did what do you call it? We Bleed Green. And I told him, I said, bro, that summer before the Xbox launches, you could just feel it in the air. That summer before Xbox launches it's going to be bananas. I said, you have to have a show. Find 2 people and create a show. You have to. This Xbox community this time around, my God. So again, we don't want to believe it's this way, but there are certain mitigating factors, unfortunately, Cowboy, that decide how these things go down. They're very superficial in nature. Jeff Keighley will never admit it, but I got credible sources on both sides of the fence that admit that that's what happened. That there was some major influence going around. And because, Red Dead Redemption 2 was supposed to get that. They're supposed to get that until a sea wave of change just started to hit the atmosphere. And then Jeff Keighley put it over because he's a PlayStation fan as well. So, yeah, but it's crazy. This is the Red Dead Part 1 was Game of the Year. So yeah, and that is interesting that you brought that up, because it's my understanding that was part of the argument chips of when they started to turn their mindset against Red Dead 2. Well, Red Dead 1 already won Game of the Year, so we won't look too biased. It's not crazy if we change this, if we shift this. Yeah, it's that's what I said. These conversations be wild, man. He says, "Oh, okay. I thought a game had to come by the cutoff date is early November." Yep. Is it? Is it still early November? Well, if it's early November, well, they got to submit the game to them. So even though if the game releases November 11th for everybody else, if they give them the game, because the game has to go gold in like October. So once the game goes gold in October, if they give them the game in October for them to play and rate, that's usually how it works. So. All right. Okay, so here's the last thing I want to talk about before we roll. And I thank you all very much for dealing with me for this long. Like I said, there will be no podcast or anything like that tomorrow. There might be a morning tonic. Tomorrow is going to be dedicated to games. But here's the thing. As I've said earlier, I'm all for community conversations. People agree, people disagree. And there is this selfish nature that all gamers have done it. I used to do it back in the day. I did it back in the day with Xbox. It's not something that I haven't been guilty of. But this selfish nature of, if you don't provide what I want, you're going down, you're burning down, right? And that's versus a multi-billion-dollar company. They get paid the big bucks to deal with that stuff. I don't always agree with it, especially like when the Stadia social media team is targeted, whatever. But again, I can't run into the Google offices with napkins and wipe everyone's tears away. They'll figure it out, right? And that, not saying that they need me to do that. They'll figure it out. whenever they're dealing with that type of crap. But where I draw the line, I draw the line at gamers trying to attack other gamers for what they like. Nothing about that is gamerly. I know I'm making up my own words, but shit. Nothing about it is gamerly at all. I say this all the time. I didn't walk out of the arcade, like where I used to go play the arcade games, the tabletop gamers, you know, they'd set up a little cool little table, play the little Dungeons and Dragons outside of the arcade, you know, and we would come by and watch, go in, play arcade, you know what I'm saying? We respected them, even though I never sat down and played those games with them, but you know, it was all part of the gaming community. You know, we treated it, you know, as part of our nerddom. We never attacked them. You don't like what I like. You know what I'm saying? We never done that. We may have talked stuff like, oh, you got the Genesis, I got the Super Nintendo. Yeah, the Genesis is better because we got Dominique Wilkins basketball, or, you know, this, that, and the other, right? But at the end of the day, we was playing everybody's stuff. We didn't care. It was just, you know, people just talking crap at the end of the day and going about their business. But nobody, like, for instance, Nintendo didn't have any blood on its games except for, I think Mortal Kombat or something? You can do the blood code or something. I don't know. But Nintendo didn't have blood in its games. So say, for instance, if you were a fellow Nintendo owner and you didn't like that. Oh, Nintendo doesn't have blood in its games. That sucks. Ah! You go on this rampage about there not being blood in the games. Nobody's on a rampage with you, or your efforts are disorganized, so it's just you going on social media, talking doom and gloom, and just hating on the platform unconstructively to no avail. To then, because your efforts aren't getting any attention from everyone else, and you failed in articulating what your issue is to get people to rally behind you, you then go and attack other gamers. The reason why we don't have blood on this platform is because you pansies don't care about blood being on the play. It's your fault that the things are like this. That has to stop. And it really sickens me that we're seeing this over a 1% business. Of all things. A business that's in the early years, a business to where all the analysts are telling us that we're at least 10 years out of this being even considered somewhat mainstream. We're doing all this, attacking each other and attacking other gamers and trying to attack other communities subliminally, non-subliminally. It's stupid. You like what I like what, you know, you like what you like, I like what I like. And if you don't like what I like, then move on. Don't be mad at me because I don't want to fight your cause. Don't do that to other gamers. I did a video on this before. I said it's not cool to, you know, somebody, like I said, somebody put out a great tweet about Madden, them not liking Madden, not being on Stadia, and them walking away from the platform. In that video that I put out earlier, let that person speak their piece about their use case. They start going out in the weeds trying to project about this closing down and that. Okay, that's when you ding them. But they're talking about their use case and their experience and what they're going to do. They're not wrong for that. That's how they feel, and that's what they're going to do as a result. Let them speak their piece and let it be transparent how many people feel that way for them, with them, right? So the people that frown upon them and got something to say to them, stop it. Don't do that. I said that in a video. But in turn, If somebody doesn't want to fight your cause, that's not case for you to attack other gamers. At the end of the day, this is about joy. And what I think has happened is so many of you that are wet behind the ears that don't know what the F you're talking about, who don't know how this works, that don't understand the business side. You guys want to be right so bad, that you make alliances, you call out other gamers, you attack other gamers and do this and try to put labels on people and stuff like that and attack them simply for what they like. Now, I've stood up in the past and I've defended gamers on this side for liking what they like. I may have poked fun at other platforms, but never in the realm of, oh, this is trash and you shouldn't want to play that. No, I just did, just shine the mirror back on you. If you're saying that this platform is a problem because of this, what about that? Aren't you being a hypocrite? But at the end of the day, you like what you like. There's nothing wrong with it. And I don't know where you neo gamers came from that want to make this more about arguments and factions and debates and all this other stuff, opposed to playing and showcasing what you like more than the others. I love gaming. Gaming is a passion of mine. It's a hobby of mine. As soon as I get done with my work, first thing I do is I'm chopping up content. I love gaming. I've been loving gaming since I was a little tyke. But I love gaming because it brings people together. I love the bringing together aspect of it. I'm willing to put my neck on the line and defend those that just want to enjoy it. But never is my cause to belittle what somebody else likes. I'm not going to attack Nintendo. I don't mess with Nintendo. I'm not going to attack Nintendo. I'm not going to attack PC. I'm not going to attack Xbox. I'm not going to attack PlayStation. I may say facts about how things are not being executed well because we're having a conversation about games. But those are going after that. But that is how the companies are executing what they're doing. I'm not going to attack fellow gamers for liking what they like. There's nothing gamerly about it at all. It's disgusting. It has no place in gaming, and I don't want nothing to do with it. That's why I don't get into these back and forths. It's stupid. It's silly. This is a 1% business. Today, this person is going to look good on paper. Then they're going to get leapfrogged by somebody else. And then that person is going to look good on paper. Then the one that was at the bottom may leapfrog it. It's the early years. Play what you play. Highlight what you like. Everybody needs to take a look in the mirror. And if you make it your campaign to target other people for what they like, you represent exactly what gaming is not about at all. I don't give a damn how much you play. I don't give a damn what you spend. You have taken a pathetic twist to something that is to be enjoyed, and you turn it into something repulsive. Get out of here. Go find another hobby. Go shoot jacks or something. Get the hell out of here. You don't belong here. And I don't know where you all's mindset came from. Gaming has never been about this. Never. And it was supposed to be different here. Now we're doing this here in over 1% businesses while they're building? What the hell is happening here? So, when I saw gamers over the weekend singling out other gamers because they weren't willing to be upset over what you're upset about, that shows really as a person, I'm sorry, I'm going to go there. How much of a superficial hole that you have in your being, that people got to agree with you and put on a pedestal what you think, or there's something wrong with them. Have you ever thought about this? That maybe what you're making such a big issue isn't a big issue, because if it was a big issue, people would just gradually agree with you in the first place. So the simple fact that you're in the minority complaining about something when it comes to a specific group means that you don't belong in that group, right? Go somewhere else. Go somewhere else and find something to enjoy about gaming. Go somewhere else. Or start your own gaming company. Or even better yet, like I said, go where you really belong, get the hell out of this hobby, and go shoot jacks. Period. And Tommy brings up an excellent point. He says, console war has been going on for ages. Oh yeah, absolutely. My thing is better than yours. That's not what I'm addressing. What I'm addressing is gamers of the same platforms who say, well, I want this and I want that, and you guys need to rally behind this. No, I don't. I don't care about that. Oh, if you're not doing that, you're just a shield. Well, no, or maybe. Well, if there's a lot of people, if I'm a shield, then there should be a lot of people that feel your way, right? So you don't even need me to join because you got enough people on your side, right? Oh, shut up. Don't be logical. I'm angry. If gaming makes you so angry, like gaming doesn't make me angry. What makes me angry is the people that are involved with gaming. But if gaming makes you so angry, then maybe you need to pick another hobby. If the things that are happening in gaming or with games makes you so angry, then maybe you've outgrown the hobby. I don't like people being deceived, but once I get off this mic, I'm ecstatic to play games. I'm not sitting there playing Division 2 and sitting there thinking, oh, I can't enjoy Division 2 so because GFN's UI, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna stop playing Division 2 on this platform, pick up a mic about GFN, and I'm not thinking about that. The times that, admittedly, I don't play Luna like that, but when I played Immortals Phoenix Rising on Luna, I didn't sit there and say, oh man, it's a flat 60 frames per second here, but it isn't on Stadia. I can't enjoy this on Luna. No, I'm enjoying it on Luna for what it's offering me. How can you play another platform and your mind automatically divulge to something else? How does that even happen? Y'all got a lot to think about, man. Y'all got a lot to think about out here. Hopefully someday y'all get it together, man. Period. With that said, let me get to the chat. Let's see here. How did it go all the way up here? The hell? Yeah, the Xbox people got dark that don't know nothing about gaming. Yeah, again, it's not about you're always gonna have people that puff their chest out. Mine is better than yours, but there's these gamers that are supposed to be within the same, that support the same product or whatever. And they want this and they want that. And I'm all for whatever you want and be vocal about it. But because people won't rally behind your cause, there's a problem with them. That doesn't make sense. And now we're getting to the point now to where, everybody everybody's opinion has to be important, or everybody's opinion has to be at the top of the list. Doesn't matter if you're the only one that thinks that way. It has to be at the top of the list. Like that, to me, that's like a superficial void. That shows like there's a hole in your existence to where people have to agree with you, or you're gonna spaz out. I don't get that. Says PC is the cake and eat it, play it, cloud gaming on PC. Yeah, PC, I mean, PC gaming, it can be great. And then it can suck too, to me. Like, I love how Far Cry 6 looks on my PC. I'm just tired of all the patches and the bloating. And the, you know what I mean? And the now the HD textures don't look right. You know what I mean? So. Dusty says, do you know what I think causes rift between gamers? One, social media. Two, the transition away from couch co-op to strictly online. Yeah, I agree. I think those are major contributors. I do. Because, when online became prominent, then came the keyboard warrior. And the keyboard warrior is just someone who doesn't know how to control their emotions and who just expresses it online. And they feel like they're not going to feel any repercussions because you're online. What you gonna do? You know what I mean? So I'm gonna call you out. I'm gonna say all types of things to you. Things that they would never say to you in person. And it ain't about being a tough guy. I'm just saying they will be more cautious in person because they know that it's out of pocket, it's out of hand. But now we're trying to discredit gamers for what they like. I just don't know where this energy came from. Amen. This is why I keep telling people, don't make videos trying to convert a fist into. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Petter. Exactly, Petter. I never really tried to convert people. I just played whack-a-mole with people that were saying things that weren't factually true. Not because I wanted, the whole internet to agree with me, but I don't like the notion, because I've been through it. I don't like the notion of I'm just an innocent person trying to figure out the truth, and you're lying to me just so I can be a check mark on your side of the pad. You know what I'm saying? To where if you would have told me the truth, maybe I would have liked something other than what you like, but who cares? Who cares? Somebody checks out my stream and wants to check out Stadia as a result, great. If they don't, so what? It's about the game. Exactly. Petter gets it. That's why we're going to be doing, again, more and more gameplay throughout all this, Console warriors isn't kids either, like back in the day. It's growing. Yep. I might, Tommy, give me about a good hour or so. My wife is egging for attention, so give me a good hour. So if I can get her off my case, then yeah, I'm gonna be on, because today's the apparel hunt. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. Like, Tommy plays on GFN and I play on Stadia. Tommy's our group leader for the Old Dirty Blasters. We got our differences on what these cloud platforms provide, and that's cool. That's all right, But I would never consider Tommy anything but a gamer, because we're playing games together on these different platforms. So he can like what he likes and feel what he feels, and I can like what I like and feel what I feel, and we can still play together. That's the amazing thing about it. So I'm not gonna, why would I even waste my time focusing on what he likes? You actually have people, this is what I'm saying, you actually have people that are playing games on other platforms, and they're thinking about the platform that they're supposed to not like, and they're stopping playing their game, you know what I'm saying, and enjoying gaming to talk about what they don't enjoy. To me, that's absurd. No. And this practice has to stop, because it's repulsive. So we're going to be more about the games. See me and Tommy as a representative gamer of GFN, me as a representative gamer of Stadia, but us, more importantly, representative gamers of Old Dirty Blasters. see us game together soon. That's what it's about. May not be tonight, may not be till tomorrow, but you can check us. Go check out Old Dirty Blasters. We're going to be on Twitch. Check out Stadia Dosage Plus. Check out Stadia Dosage Streams. Check out Stadia Dosage News for notifications and stuff. And check out Did We Get Jacked? You're going to like that last episode. Hey, Tommy, thank you for the notations. I know, Tommy, my lingo's all over the place. I don't get the rules of division. I'm gonna get there one of these days, but I'm happy. Well, I'm not gonna say something. That's a very good episode. Complete contrast to the first one. So, all right, y'all. With that said, I've been on air for almost 2 hours. No, Jesus Christ, for 3 hours. So we're gonna get out of here. But with that said, I appreciate all of y'all. And until next time, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace. Oh, Tommy, oh, wow. Okay. Well, I mean, hey, whatever floats your boat. Like, I get it, Tommy. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, Tommy. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm gonna highlight this from Tommy. No, I want to put it, before I go, I want to put this last comment up here from Tommy. Just hopefully it pops up. Just got to give it some time, and hopefully it'll pop up. Because I want this, because this is very important. This is very important. I want to put this up here. Come on, comment. Come on. All right, here's Tommy's comment. He says, I play. Is it gonna? Okay, he says, I play locally, gave up my 3080 tier, only Stadia left on hold. Okay. So what Tommy is basically saying is, look, I had the 3080 tier, kind of put that to the side, kind of have Stadia, I got that on hold. So I'm more of playing locally now. There's nothing wrong with that. Can I tell you guys a secret? And that's why when my good brother, and now your mom, when Anthony had me on a few weeks ago, and I was playing around with him, and I asked him about PlayStation 5 and all this other stuff, and then I told him, I said, can't always get what you want. Look, I did that because now my brother has a PlayStation 5. He's going to experience greatness. Like even Jack Buser said, there are going to be people, and I'm paraphrasing now, they're going to play Stadia and be like, look, you know what? This doesn't provide me everything that I need right now. And they may either put it to the side or come back later, but they'll come back years later and realize otherwise. That includes me too. Like, I'm looking at the summer, right? And I'm like, okay, if in case there is a slew of games on Stadia that I'm not going to really get into, that's fine. That's okay. I'm keeping Stadia Pro. I'm gonna still play Division on it. You know what I'm saying? And still play Borderlands and World War. I still got plenty of backlog games. But there's also, I haven't picked up Horizon Forbidden West. I haven't played Returnal yet. God of War's, you see what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? Hey, my Stadia playthroughs here and there might dip down momentarily. It's okay. About playing games at the end of the day. And me not overshooting the moon about cloud gaming. I love it. I prefer it. I understand that it's in its building phase, so things are going to be, you know, it's going to have its ups and downs. It's not a mainstream platform yet. It's okay. It's okay if you drop your 3080 tier. It's okay if you step away from Stadia a little. It's all right. It's okay if Luna, you're like, oh man, I can't do this right now. It's okay. They're building. There's nothing wrong with enjoying any of these platforms. There's nothing wrong with taking a step away from any of these platforms. Do what makes you happy, man. That's all I wanted to highlight. I'm sick and tired of battling over games. I'm sick and tired of that. If I'm gonna fight anybody, I'm going to fight the conglomerate companies for when they try to pull the okie doke, or I'm going to fight the journalists that try to lie to me and help fuddle my gaming purchasing decisions. I'm not going to fight with a fellow gamer. You like what you like, Like for instance, shout out to the homie King Thress, the homie. I know a lot of people, he might be a different taste for what a lot of people like, but that's my homie. He was for a long time itching to get me on a stream to battle it out about Stadia. And I didn't duck him or anything, but I never made it a priority. Because my point is why? Like, he's not going to walk away from that conversation, regardless of what I say, regardless of what I show him. He's not walking away from the conversation, changing his mind. I could destroy him with facts. And what? I come out the victor? I don't come out a victor that way. I come out a victor when I talk to somebody about Stadia and they get educated on it. And it helps them make a decision and they feel comfortable about that decision because they were honestly wanting to learn something. When I help educate somebody, that's when I become victorious. Not when I'm sitting there battling somebody who just is going to believe what they're going to believe. Like Petter said, who's going to believe? That doesn't do anything. That's a waste of my time. My time is valuable. It's a waste of my time. Now, there's sometimes when I'm in the mood, and I'll present a debate challenge out to people, but I don't do that regularly, and that's why I don't do this back and forth like I used to, because it's pointless. I have the facts in front of me. The facts have yet to fail me. Every time I tell people, this is what it is, and they've told me, no, it's not MM2K, when the dust settles, guess what? Oh, you were right. But they still keep denying the facts, and it's not me. I want to tell them I'm not right. The facts are right. I just follow the facts. I don't want to keep arguing that water is wet, that the earth is round. I don't want to keep doing that. I want to enjoy gaming now. Now that things have slowed down a little bit on the new side, that's actually a blessing to me. Now I can play these damn games. So again, starting next week, guys and gals, Mondays we're gonna do sound off. Tuesdays will be SLS. Wednesdays are going to be SSC. Thursdays are going to be free, and then Friday we're going to be doing weekly checkup. All right, and then hopefully on I can squeeze in a lot of gaming in between then. Okay, all right, folks. With that said, I appreciate and love all of y'all. We're going over 3 hours now. Until next time, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.